Hello Internet, welcome to Lex Universe. So this one's gonna be heavy. I've been trying to avoid making such a video for quite some time because honestly I'm really fed up with this topic from the media, and I'm sure you are as well. But I kinda need to get it out of my system, so here we are. Let's deal with it. So before we begin, I would like to make a disclaimer, and that's all of this is filmed on the 17th March, and everything is changing so rapidly that it's possible that many of the numbers that I will be using will not be true in a few days. But actually this video will be quite general in its entirety. So most of what I'm saying will probably not be outdated anytime soon. So first of all, what this video isn't. This isn't an attempt to freak you out, to be super afraid about the COVID-19 outbreak. Also, it doesn't try to tell you don't be worried, because that would be just wrong. And also, this is not any kind of tips and tricks how to survive your quarantine, or what to do, how to create your own face mask or anything. There are plenty of these on the internet, just search for them, you will find them basically everywhere. And I also don't want to state facts that are already spread out everywhere. But saying that, what I will be saying will be mostly facts that are published by the official sources, especially the World Health Organization, which I think is the most renowned source for information in this case. And there will also be some insights that are based on the facts that are subjective in mine, and I will make really sure that this is what it is when I say it. So let's start with the basics, what we're dealing here and what we're actually doing. As you have probably noticed, the world is currently on a giant shutdown. Many airlines have stopped flying whatsoever. There are closed borders in many states in Europe. And currently there is this giant ban on flying across the Atlantic from Europe to the United States. And actually I believe nobody has actually cancelled the ban on traveling to China, so right now there is basically no public transportation around the world, which is completely unprecedented. And here's why. So as a travel vlogger, I will point out one thing first. Basically the largest part of the human society that was affected, and actually the first one, was tourism and traveling in general. As you can see right now, you cannot, in many cases, you cannot even cross the border for any kind of reason. And in my cases here in Prague, we actually cannot even leave our apartments at the moment. So why is this? What is that's causing it? It's this virus that was first discovered in Wuhan, China, in the end of 2019, and ever since that spread in over 100 countries around the world. And it's this virus called SARS-CoV-2, and generally it's described as the coronavirus. That's what most media say. You may have also noticed the name COVID-19. That's actually the disease that's caused by this virus. So that's just to make sure that we're talking about the same things. Now, right now, as I'm filming this video, there's about 130 confirmed cases worldwide, of which about 6,000 have died. So while tourism was the first side of our society that was affected, at this moment it affects basically all sides of our human society worldwide. Most of the restaurants, bars are closed, borders are closed, there are no flights, no international travel connections, at least here in Europe. It's really a dark time, I would say. Now, what is the point of all these measures? Uh, there are actually like two ways that you can deal with this disease, because first of all, and that's one thing why this wasn't taken seriously for quite some time by many people in Europe and the United States, uh, it appears that the mortality rate is actually kind of low, and most adult healthy people will have such mild symptoms that they will probably not even notice that they are sick. So that's why nobody actually took it seriously. But the problem appeared when this was actually discovered in Italy, and it started escalating really quickly, and their health system wasn't able to take care of all the patients that appeared, because there are like 20% of all the infected people whose symptoms are uh, much more severe than in the general population. And well, it doesn't seem to be such a large number. Uh, this virus is actually extremely effective in spreading, so a lot of people get infected, which in itself is not such a big problem, because it really doesn't have such a severe consequences for most of the people. But since it spreads among almost the whole population, and there are some estimates that it will spread into 70% of population, then 20% is such a large number that most of the hospitals and most of the healthcare systems are unable to take care of it. So that's why we are taking these horrible draconic measures to stop it in its beginning, or at least what we consider beginning. It's way past that, and that's what I'm trying to say. All these measures, they don't seem logical, because if you're looking at them as a means to stop spreading the virus, then of course it doesn't work, and you really cannot do that in a China way, I would say. So when this was discovered in Wuhan, they basically quarantined the whole area. They stopped everything. They stopped production in the factories, everything. That cannot happen here for various reasons, but the most important one, yeah, is its economics. It sounds horrible, but what happened in Wuhan? They were in the situation when the rest of China could actually supply for them. That's not possible here, because the whole Europe is affected, and at this moment there is like no one who could supply us if they stop production everywhere. So what we are doing, we're trying to find some compromise between saving as many people as possible at this very moment, while not completely tanking our economy, which in a way will probably happen anyway. But we're trying to make it so that when this is all over, we have a life to return to. So we cannot stop everything at the moment. What we're trying is, instead of stopping the spread of the disease, we're trying to slow down the spread. And we are doing this for two reasons. One, probably the most important reason why we're doing is we're trying to, I'm sure you have heard this expression so many times in media in the last few days and weeks, that I don't need to repeat it to you. We're trying to flatten the curve, which means that we're not trying to decrease the overall number of infected people and the people with the severe consequences. We're trying to just make sure that they do not arrive all at once, which will give us more time to prepare, and which will make sure that our hospitals will not get overwhelmed. We really have to make sure that all these sick people do not arrive at one moment, and that will be really significant in the coming days. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is to make sure that other people don't make the same mistake as I did. Because I'm not really proud of it, but even a week ago I really underestimated the situation. I was walking outside, I went for beer like 10 days ago, and I wouldn't say I didn't care, but I didn't understand the severity of the situation, because of course I didn't. For me, there is no real danger. I will I will survive, and I will probably not even have any severe consequences. But then I realized, like, come on, it's not just about me. And For that, I'm really am sorry, because that's what I was trying to say with this video. We all were jerks 10 days ago, and right now it's really time to stop being jerks and to start being a little bit responsible. And this actually related to the second reason why we're trying to, let's say, flatten the curve, and that's the death rate. We don't know right now what the death rate of this disease is. It could be something between 0.5% to 5%. We don't really know. It will probably be much lower than we expect, but it doesn't really matter, because what this is related to is how prepared we are. Because if you have a lot of sick people who suddenly come to the hospital, you don't have enough ventilators, beds, even doctors to take care of all of them, and you have to pick and choose who gets to live and who gets to die. However, if they come in the longer period of time, you have more time for them, and then the number of deaths is a lot lower. So consider that. And the third reason why we're trying to postpone this as much as possible is there are like thousands of people, very smart people around the world, who are working on a cure. And it's possible that we'll get it in a month. It really is possible. But you have to understand that this doesn't mean that suddenly everybody gets a cure and everything will be okay. It will be extremely rare, and it will be already used only for the most severe cases. Because, like I said, for 80% of the population, this is not dangerous. If you are sick, just stay at home and wait it out. You will have cough, you will have fever, just get some ibuprofen or something, lay to bed and wait. It will go away. And if you start having problems with breathing, then call ambulance. They will come to pick you up. And then they will test you. But it really isn't necessary. If you are a healthy adult person, to get to the hospital and get tested and get the cure for a virus that really will not do you any harm. Really leave the tests and leave the possible cures for people who really need it. And that's what will probably happen. And when we are at a point when we have working medicine for these most severe cases, then we can actually make these measures for the whole population milder and milder, because at that point it will really be like a flu. But it's not right now. Another thing that you have to consider, even if the mortality rate is only 1%, there are some scientists who believe that up to 70% of people in the world will get infected. And if right now 1% of all the people who get infected die, then it is actually 49 million people worldwide, which, yes, 1% is a very small number, but when you put it to perspective, it's the size of a country like Spain or South Korea. So think about it next time you will go out. So this all that I said right now, it was really depressing, it was really dark, but let's end on some more positive note. First of all, you need to put this into perspective. All that I said was actually true, but don't panic. It's really not worth it. First of all, if you are my age, you're okay. So the social distancing is really, really important. Keep away from other people, because you can infect them even though you don't know that you are sick. But let's put it into perspective. The normal seasonal flu has already killed, since October 2019, when the season started, has already killed several million people, and nobody really cares. So all of these things that I will say now, how to protect yourself from the coronavirus, you should probably really use them all the time, because it's a very good general advice, and you don't want to spread the seasonal flu on your grandparents as well, because they may have severe consequences as well. The only difference is there is a cure, but they could die of it. So what I will say right now about the countermeasures, they're not just against this thing. They're really against spreading any kind of virus. And nobody wants your virus. Stop trying to discover if you have a coronavirus, or if you have flu, or if you have tuberculosis or whatever. Really. If you are sick, stay at home. Nobody wants your flu anyway. So, what you should do is you should wash your hands for at least 20 minutes, which you probably heard. Keep your distance from other people. Stay at home if possible. Go out only if it's necessary. And if you're sick, don't go outside as well at all. Just stay at home, lay in bed. If you have a fever, take some pill and wait it out. And don't go to the hospital. Now, in the end, I want to say one thing. There have been a lot of hate towards the people who got infected. Because, like I said, a month ago, people just were casually traveling around the world. They didn't care if they get infected. Even 2 weeks ago, some people went skiing to Italy. Nobody's doing that anymore, and nobody's complaining that they cannot travel. We just want to wait it out, and we want this all to be over. And there is some hate towards the people who were so reckless time ago, like me. I mean, I wasn't skiing in Italy, but I wasn't also staying at home. So, and many of us haven't. So, this hate is really pointless. But on the other hand, I have to say, I have never seen such an amazing spread of humanity and solidarity. People here in the Czech Republic have responded to the lack of facial masks and respirators with sewing their own at home and distributing them to people who really need them. And honestly, guys, I'm really touched because I've never seen people to be so good. And the truth is, I believe that now, in the beginning of this year, 2020, humanity has touched its all-time low. Well, maybe not including the wars, but still. But we have also touched our all-time high. I've never seen people being so humane before, and I cannot tell you how proud I am of all of these people who are helping, because it's really cool. And now let's talk a little bit about the future. I'm not a prophet. Everything I predicted about 5 days ago totally didn't go true. I was wrong about everything, so I'm not predicting anything else. But what I can say is we need to stay positive. We need to understand one important thing, because right now all these measures will have effect. But for the foreseeable future, it will look like everything is getting worse. And the reason for that is every information that we are getting is coming with a 2 weeks delay, because that's the incubation period that this disease has. So if you're starting with a quarantine on the 1st in the month, you will not see any results until the 14th. So right now, the number of the sick people will rise, and it will keep rising for quite some time. But I believe that with all these measures, this will stop in a few weeks, and then it will slowly start to disappear. And I hope, for all our sakes, that we can get through this. And I don't have to hope, of course we can. Humanity has been through worse, and there are other challenges that are waiting for us, so we will have to get through this. And I believe that we are on the good way to win this war. So that's that. Anyway, I thank you for listening to me for such a long time. I hope some of what I said actually helped someone. If it didn't, it actually helped me not to be so alone here at home. And if you like this, give me a like. Don't give me a like. It really doesn't matter at this point. But I will look forward to you in the next videos. And when all of this is over, we'll keep on traveling, we'll keep on living, and everything will be as great as we will make it. Until the next time, have a great time.